Right now, something huge is happening. A massive, once-in-a-generation shift is unfolding in the economy. It's artificial intelligence, of course, and most people, they're going to completely miss the boat on the real opportunity because they're staring at the wrong thing. So in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly where to look.
Okay, so the best way to wrap your head around this whole thing is with a classic analogy. During the gold rush, most of the prospectors, the people digging for gold, they went broke. But the ones who made real, generational fortunes, they were the people selling the tools. Look at Levi Strauss. The guy didn't find a single ounce of gold, but he sold tough, durable pants to every miner out there. And hey, that company is still around today, right?
And that really brings us to the big question for you. For all of us, really. In this new AI gold rush, are you going to be out there chasing the hype, digging for gold? Or are you going to be the one selling the shovels?
All right, let's really get into it because honestly, that old gold rush analogy, it is the perfect map for what's happening in the world of AI today. There's a super clear and super important distinction between the gold and the picks and shovels.
So take a look at this. It lays out the two sides of the coin perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the prospectors, all the AI apps like chatbots and image generators. They're cool, for sure, but man, the competition is just brutal, and they're turning into commodities so fast. But then, look on the right. These are the suppliers, the ones providing the actual infrastructure. We're talking cloud, chips, power. This is the bedrock, the foundation, and it's only getting more valuable and more essential every single day.
And that's the key takeaway right there. The real, lasting opportunity isn't about trying to guess which chatbot is going to be the next big thing. No way. It's about owning a piece of the foundational infrastructure that the entire industry is being built on top of.
And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, it's absolutely staggering. Goldman Sachs thinks that by 2025, global investment in AI is going to top $200 billion. And get this, that's annually. This isn't some wild guess. This is money that the biggest tech companies on Earth are already lining up to spend.
This really just highlights a pattern we've seen time and time again. Just think about it. Electricity, the internet. Who got paid first? It was the people who built the power plants, who laid the copper wire and the fiber optic cables. They were the ones getting paid reliably, long before anyone even knew what the winning apps would be.
Okay, so the big question is, how do we actually find these picks and shovels? Well, we can actually break down the entire AI economy into what we're calling 9 essential pillars of infrastructure. And the beauty of this is, by focusing on these pillars, you're not trying to bet on one specific company to win, you're investing in the whole foundation.
So, pillar number 1, cloud providers. The easiest way to think about them, they're the landlords of the AI economy. Every single AI model needs a place to live, right? Well, companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, they own all the digital real estate, and they get to collect rent no matter what, whether their tenants hit it big or go bust.
All right, let's keep building on that idea with the next 2 pillars. If the cloud is the land, then you can think of hardware and semiconductors as the concrete, the steel beams, and all the heavy construction machinery. This is where the actual, raw number crunching happens.
And what's just mind-blowing here is how a few key players basically run the whole show. Look at Nvidia. They control something like 80 to 90% of the GPU market for data centers. TSMC, they make over 90% of the world's most advanced chips. And then there's ASML, which has a literal, honest-to-goodness 100% monopoly on the machines you need to even make those chips. Talk about a powerful, defensible moat. Wow.
Okay, now for a pillar that a lot of people totally sleep on, energy and cooling. Get this, a single large data center can use as much electricity as a small city. That's insane. And all that computing power, it generates a ton of heat. So you absolutely need reliable 24/7 power and some serious cooling solutions. It's non-negotiable.
All right, the next 4 pillars are basically the connective tissue that holds this whole thing together. Think of networking as the superhighways for all that data. Monitoring, that's the management team making sure everything's running smoothly. Software platforms are like the specialized operating system just for AI. And of course, cybersecurity. Those are the security guards protecting this incredibly valuable stuff from all the bad guys.
And pillar number 9. This is where things start to feel like sci-fi. This is the moment AI stops being just software locked in a data center and actually starts interacting with the physical world. We're talking robotics, autonomous systems, the whole shebang. And companies like Tesla, with that unique mix of hardware, software, and massive amounts of real-world data, they are right at the bleeding edge of this.
Okay, so we've got our 9 pillars. We know what the picks and shovels are. But, and this is a big but, knowing what to invest in is only half the battle. The other, equally important half is knowing how to do it in a smart, disciplined way that helps you avoid the classic mistakes that trip everyone up.
Let's just start with a hard truth, okay? Nobody, and I mean nobody, can consistently time the market. Not the pros on Wall Street, not the hedge fund gurus, not your favorite influencer on YouTube. The evidence is just overwhelming. Trying to perfectly pick the tops and bottoms, it's a fool's errand. It's a losing game.
So what's the solution? Well, it's a super simple but incredibly powerful strategy called dollar cost averaging. Here's how it works. Step 1, you just commit to investing the same amount of money, say every month. Now here's the magic. Step 2, when prices are high, your money buys you a few less shares. No big deal. But step 3, when prices are low, that same chunk of money automatically buys you more shares. And the end result, step 4, your average cost per share goes down over time. You've basically turned a scary market crash into a Black Friday sale.
And if you need any more proof about why staying in the game is so important, just look at this. This study from Fidelity is wild. It shows that if you had missed just the 5 best days in the market between 1980 and 2022, your total returns would have been slashed by nearly 40%. And here's the kicker. Those best days almost always come right after the absolute worst days, which is precisely when most people panic and sell.
And all of this brings us to the final and probably the most important point. Look, this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. Not at all. This is about playing the long game. It's about building real, durable, lasting wealth.
So it's really crucial to understand this is an investment approach, not a trading strategy. Its real power comes from the magic of compounding over years, even decades. And that means you've got to have patience. You've got to have emotional discipline, especially when things get choppy and the markets go wild.
There's this fantastic quote from the author Morgan Housel that I think just nails the whole idea. He says, real wealth isn't the flashy stuff you see. It's about the assets that are working for you behind the scenes, quietly compounding away, and giving you the one thing money should buy. Freedom. Options.
So that really just leaves us with one last question to think about for yourself. Is your strategy actually built to create real lasting wealth? Or is it just about looking wealthy? Because in this new age of AI, the answer to that question, well, it's going to make all the difference. Thanks for watching.